Hello everybody, Ben here. Last video we talked about the modes of the major scale. A lot of theoretical information, not a lot of practical information. Today I want to talk about how to take those modes, recognize the similarities, and recognize how to adjust them and use them in a more practical situation. So I've got myself a golden melody in the key of C, good harmonica for overblowing out of the box, but I've embossed it and adjusted the gap to make it easier for overblowing. And another thing I want to talk about is the positions. Now, it's the positions and the modes don't match up. First position is Ionian, or the major scale. Second position is Mixolydian. Third position is Dorian. Fourth position is Aeolian. Fifth position is Phrygian. Sixth position is Locrian. And 12th position is Lydian. Now, you may say, hey, why is that so chopped and screwed? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I've always wondered that myself. But anyways, let's get started. Alright, since everybody knows how to play the major scale, we're going to try show you the chromatic scale. And that's just a series of semitones. Semitone, 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 and so on. One overblows hard. Let me do the top octave, or middle octave. Sorry, I can't do the one overblow, that's really hard. So you got your chromatic scale, you know how to do that now, you've got your step patterns. So you start comparing the similarities to the step patterns and seeing where you're taking the notes out of the chromatic scale. And you'll be able to figure out how to make these adjustments. Before, I think we talked about the similarity between the Mixolydian scale and the major scale, and that's that 7th note. Mixolydian scale, second position. So let's talk about second position. Mixolydian scale is useful. We play a lot of traditional folk music with that scale. The blues scale, we all play that. We should all know that by now. But you could play other things in the second position. So let's take the Mixolydian mode and raise the 7th note a half a step, which would involve turning the 5 draw into a 5 overblow and the 9 draw into a 9 bent down a half a step. Suddenly you've got yourself a major scale. Extremely useful. Also in second position, if you lower the 3rd and the 6th note a half a step, which would involve turning the 3 draw into a 3 draw bent down a half a step, the 5 blow into a 4 overblow, the 7 draw into a 6 overblow, and the 8 blow into an 8 blow bend, you'll have yourself a second position natural minor scale. Now, second position, as you're probably guessing, is extremely useful. It's not just for blues anymore. A lot of rock songs will play in parallel scales. My favorite example is Del Shannon's Runaway. So it's very obvious, like the difference. It's like very obviously major and very obviously minor. Now you could use your A harmonica and your C harmonica to play the whole song, or if you know those two scales, you can use one D harmonica to play the whole song. Less of a pain in the butt, a heck of a lot more impressive too. So let's talk about major scale. I was specifically talking about second position because it is so useful. Now let's talk about major scales in general. We got first position, everybody knows that. We got second position. 12th position is Lydian mode, and it's also very similar to Ionian mode. All you have to do is lower the 4th note a half a step. So that would involve turning the 3 draw into a 3 draw bent down a half a step, and the 7 draw into the 6 overblow. So that's F, I think. Now you got your C harmonica. You can play a major scale in C, G, and F. Another thing I want to mention is 11th position. It's not a modal position, so it's going to be more difficult, but out of all of the non-modal positions, it's the least difficult, so it's worth mentioning. It's a major scale. And even though it's not a modal position, if you know that Ionian step pattern and you know the chromatic scale, you could figure that one out. Also, I'd like to point out that I'm not giving you specific sequences because I've given you all the information you need to figure it out, and I'd like for you to do that on your own because it'll help you understand it more. So now we can do 4 major scales on 1 harmonica. Now I like to leave it at that. You know, you better not push my luck. You know, although you can do more. 3rd position, it involves a 7 overdraw, but you can do a 3rd position major scale. Let's talk about some minor scales now. We went over 2nd position. 4th position, everybody should know that. Let's talk 3rd position. Now most people know this. 3rd position is the Dorian scale. And the Dorian scale is very similar to the natural minor scale in that you adjust the 6th note a half a step. You adjust it downwards a half a step, which would turn the 3 draw into a 3 draw bent down a half a step, and the 7 draw into a 6 overblow. 3rd position, natural minor. Also, 5th position has a good natural minor scale in it. 5th position is Phrygian mode, and it's similar to Aeolian mode in that you increase the 2nd note a half a step, which turns the 2 draw bent down a whole step into the 2 draw bent down a half step, and the 5 draw into the 5 overblow. 5th position, natural minor. So now we can do 4 major scales and 4 minor scales on 1 harmonica. What's another minor scale? There's a 6th position minor scale that you can do, but again, it's like it's got overdraws in it. It's not worth pushing your luck. Now I want to go back to now that we're talking about 5th position, I want to tie that back in with 2nd position. 5th position is relative to 2nd position the same way that 1st position and 4th position are relative to one another. So you may think, oh, well, I can't play in 5th position. I've never done that before. But you might find it a lot easier than you think because they are relative and everybody should be able to play 2nd position. You just bring the scale down 3 steps. So instead of starting on a 2 draw, 2nd position, 2nd position, 2 draw, and then you just take it down. Suddenly, 2 blow, that's the tonic of 5th position. Suddenly you're playing in 5th position, and then it's just the same sequence, like we said. The difference between the major and the relative major and minor scales. Okay, so in conclusion, we've talked about the chromatic scale, the major scale, the modes of the major scale, all of how they relate to each other and how they relate to the harmonica. But why do we need this information? What's the point? Well, it makes us more versatile, for one, and it makes us more familiar with our instrument, which is so important because we can't see it. You can't look at it. We have to feel it. It has to become instinct. Also, you can play more genres of music. Jazz, rock, funk, anything. Classical. If you forget your gear, I know even when I don't have my gear on me, I always have at least one harmonica. You could participate more. You could, instead of just playing the songs that they play in second position on that harmonica, you can play other songs that are in other keys. Also, if they're playing a song that you already know, but they're playing in a different key than you know it in, you can make that adjustment as well. And if you're interested, I've got a chart that's got all the scales in all the modes and all the keys, including the chromatic scale, tabbed out. So it's got 85 different scales that you can practice. Like I said, most of them are really hard. You probably want to stick to the 7 modal scales, but like I said, if you're interested, message me on Facebook. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you have fun with the new information. Thank you very much.